Hello, good morning, and welcome to another edition of Urfspace Live with me, your host, Chuck Whelan. One day, I might even employ an official voiceover announcer, but right now I'm just doing it all myself. My co-hosts are here, and we'll introduce them in a minute. Anyway, here we are. It's the middle of January. And things are moving on. Things are happening. We're drawing away. Recovering from the holidays, colds, coughs. I don't know if you've had a cold or a cough. I had a cold and a cough. So thanks to everyone. I've got like a couple of things coming up that I want to tell you about, live events if you're in San Francisco. So next weekend in particular, on the Saturday, there's going to be an art show at Sour Cherry Comics, the Hello 2025 show. That's right at 16th and Mission in San Francisco. It starts at 6 to 9 p.m. Art show and pop-up at Sour Cherry Comics. I'll have one of my pieces in that show, and as will many other local artists, so cartoon artists, come and check that out. And then on the Sunday, I've got an art show also in San Francisco. I've got my art currently hanging at the Tressworks Salon, which is in Mission Dolores neighborhood. That's Tressworks, Tressworks, Tressworks Salon. You can find that. And if you look at many of my posts at Urfspace, I've got some links to that. So that's coming up next weekend. And let's see. And then February 2nd that's a Sunday. That will be the East Bay Comic Con. And I will be there. All right. So now it's time to welcome my regular co-host on this show. First of all, who do we start with? Dale. There's Dale. Hello, Dale. All right. Let's bring Dale up. There we go. Regular co-host Dale Sipperley there. Also, Zach Galifinakis lookalike, I realised after watching Between Two Ferns last night. And I was like, wait a minute. I was watching Between Two Ferns, the movie. And all the way through, I kept thinking, oh, he really reminds me a lot of Dale.
That was actually called Distinguished yesterday, which surprised me.
Distinguished? Yeah, you're like a distinguished Zach Galifinakis. Yes, I'll say that, yeah. Did you know that Zach Galifinakis' cousin is a Reuben Award-winning National Cartoonists Society member? I met him one time and said hello. He mentioned that he was Zach Galifinakis' cousin. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. But, it's kind of an unusual name. So he's totally different, though. He didn't really, you look much more like Zach Galifinakis than he does. All right, so I should probably be looking at our new show format that we wrote down. But our other co-host who's been with us very loyally and regularly is Amber Greenlee. She's currently switching things on and off right now because I don't think Charles, our regular producer, is here. There she is.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had my daughter running in here going, I go potty. And I didn't want that right when you're like, hey, come on, co-host. And so I had to
come on down.
Yeah, come on down. Yeah, no. Yeah, she's cute as a button, but yeah. I'm going to steal this moment just to tell everybody that I got Jay Fosgett on Philo. And I had to change my day from Saturday to Tuesday. So new day, 1/21. And so Jay Fosgett's amazing comic book publisher, self-publisher, comic book artist. I know I completely covered up.
And a lovely guy.
But since I was ready to, I was just kind of stealing that. But yeah, that like everything changed in my world overnight. I am employed at the Improv in Denver now.
Someone gave you a job. That's amazing.
Someone gave me a jab.
Jab. You got a jab.
Yeah,
Jab.
I got a jab. Yeah, I got a jab. Yeah, no, it's
your duty to do a jab.
Or
like in England, when you do a poo, you can call it a jobby.
It's but a little jobby.
Instead of a duty. It's your duty to do a jobby.
It's but a little jobby. No, spent like 3 or 4 days on my resume, and I packed my resume full of like super positive AI terms. Like I took all of the positive, like hard and soft skills that they have on all of the resume lists, and I packed them full of my resume in all of the areas, and then just brought up the purple so you couldn't see them, and the computer can read them, but people
Yeah.
can't. And
Yes, that's good tactics. I had a
yeah,
friend who was a recruiter for like the sort of San Francisco tech recruiting. There's a lot of people do that job here, and she advised me to, because I was trying to keep my resume on just like 2 pages because that's what you were
yeah,
supposed to do. But she said no, make
no,
it
1 page.
long and fill it up with buzzwords, and I did
Yeah,
that, and it worked. I
yeah.
got way more jobs from that. So I don't know, whoever's telling you to make 2-page resumes, ignore them. Make it long and put everything on there.
No,
Make it
I
sound
made
like full of
I
buzzwords.
made a 1 page resume, and it looked stunning, and it was full of buzzwords because I'm amazing at what I do. And I
Yeah.
say that because like, no, I'll show you my resume. And
Yeah, you're in resume mode. You believe everything.
I am,
Yes.
I do. No, seriously, like I
Yes, you have to
will.
believe it.
I'll do it. I'll
Everybody
do it.
watching, you're all amazing too. No matter how stupid you think you may be. Oh,
I'm
are
sorry.
you doing? Are you choking on a pretzel?
I'm not choking on a pencil. No, that is not how I will die today.
That's not how you're going to go.
Yeah, but if we actually go here, if we share this, and I'm going to put it in the big window,
Ooh.
like that's my resume, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So now, mind you, all this purple space is filled with stuff like trustworthy, team building, leadership, data analysis, and like all kinds of stuff. Like this is the JPEG version of it because it was the easiest one for me to find. But yeah, so I have like, these are all my skills: art programs, Adobe, streaming programs, art skills, entertainment skills, office programs. Like my mom's job that she built for herself when I was growing up was Benchmark Business Services. And so what she used to do was, back in the days of blue screen, WordPress, she used to make people look professional. And so like she had all these like principles and stuff about what you did. And the biggest thing about resumes was that you wanted to make them eye-catching, because people are used to seeing the same, like format out of WordPress, or not WordPress, but Microsoft Word all the time, that when they see something that has like, bold text and like stuff a little off or whatever, it forces them to look at it. And so that's why I've always made like resumes like this. And if you make a resume like this, it forces them to look at your resume. It forces them to.
Well, okay,
yeah.
but it worked. It got you a job very quickly.
Yes, I literally sent out 1 resume, and it got me a job. It was like I'll send out this one, and then tomorrow I'll send out the ones to the grocery stores and to the, to Walmart and Home Depot and all those places. I'll send out this one on a lark to a place I really want to work. And then, yeah. But yeah, so that's, I have my socials here in the bottom, and I took time with it. And then I did the same thing for Ian. And so Ian's gonna have his resume go flying around and stuff too. And
I think for me, I've never gotten a job from like seeing a job ad and applying to it. I got most
there
of
was
my jobs
no job
through
ad.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I've never gotten a job for doing that. I got jobs from going to like an agency, some sort of temp agency or art agency or whatever. That's got me jobs. I've gotten jobs from sending my resume to a company that I want to work for and saying, I'd like to work for you. That works. Or through like a sort of word of mouth through somebody I know. But yeah, from applying to an ad, I don't know many people that got jobs that way.
I've gotten jobs from applying to ads.
All right.
But yeah, it's they were never good jobs.
No,
You know?
and I think I've heard recently that like a lot of these HR companies, they just sort of put ads up all the time so that they've got a sort of throughput of resumes and things coming in. But, I think it's really much better to say, I like that company. I want to work for you. I mean, I'm sure. Okay. And then, then there's some jobs that are much harder to get. You can't just, send your resume into Marvel. Like, okay, everyone's doing that. So you got to be pretty good.
Well, yeah. And it's, like in comics and stuff too, like with the Neil Gaiman stuff coming out, we can't talk around the fact that like there's been a lot of like you scratch my back, I scratch yours. That's been
my goodness.
Exploitative in a lot of those cool jobs. Right, Hollywood, like Weinstein was that way too. I'll make you a star.
Well, okay, blah, blah, blah. All right, let's talk about degrees. I think there's a big degree of difference between what Neil Gaiman got up to and what Harvey Weinstein got up to. Like several orders of magnitude of difference.
Well,
I'm not saying that what Neil Gaiman did was okay. I mean, he seems like he crossed over a line, but Harvey Weinstein was like way more manipulative. And all right,
did you read the Vulture
in the old
article?
days, that's why people got these jobs, was so that they could get laid.
Yeah.
I mean, you go back to that. That's the only reason anybody does anything is so they can get laid.
Yeah.
No.
I have the pursuit of like making beautiful things, but that's just.
But okay, you can make beautiful things, but that, yeah. No, I don't think. Yeah, well, even so, I still think, somewhat whatever you're doing. All right, but in a 15-year-old mindset, when you get a bit older, these things are less important. But obviously, someone like Harvey Weinstein keep going no matter what. But there's some terrible things out there. I mean, there's also, I don't know if I want to bring this up, but cartoonist Darren Bell.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what's going on there. He was arrested this week.
Yeah.
And I met him. He was with his wife and his kids, 4 kids. It seemed like a nice guy. I was a little surprised, to be honest.
The question is, he hasn't gone to trial yet. And
no.
I find it extremely suspicious that a Pulitzer Prize winning cartoonist to attack Trump is now, because of a tip, being charged with this. Regardless if someone put it on there or he did it, he's tarred for life. And I notice that when I interact with people on social media, the term pedo or groomer is being used a lot in interactions by people on social media. So I'm hoping this will go to trial to see what will happen.
Well,
yes, innocent until proven guilty.
One big part of it was that they said that the images were AI generated. I'm sorry.
Yes. Yes, AI. Yes, there's a new law that came into effect on January the 1st, because previously, it had to involve real people, but they changed the law so that even AI images. Well, I don't want to make any sort of justifications for that sort of behavior, but people are innocent till they're proven guilty, and there are degrees. I mean, again, not that what Neil Gaiman did was right, but it was nowhere near as wrong as what Harvey Weinstein got up to.
Did you read the Vulture article?
What?
I don't know if I read all the articles. I read some articles.
The Vulture article on Gaiman is pretty damning, and it's
the article that came out. Yes, all right.
Yeah.
So what he got in? He had someone who worked for him, and he was trying to get him off.
He had several people that worked for him, and and while he had a relationship with Amanda Palmer, they would like share partners sometimes, where she would like, oh, he'll love you, but he would have sexual relations with people without lubricant. He was like not very attentive to their needs. during those relationships, and basically it was very manipulative behavior. When you read it and stuff, you can see the predator at play.
First, are we talking about Amanda? Are we talking about the artist for Power Girl and Harley Quinn?
No, we're talking about Parks and Recreation.
We're talking about an actress.
Yes.
Okay, I thought we were talking about a comic book artist.
No.
Okay, never mind.
No, and he would like use his money. He would get NDAs signed and stuff by women that he had relationships with, so that they wouldn't talk about it. One woman that he had sexually assaulted and stuff, she just threw out a number of $300,000. You know, she's like, "Oh, that's what it will take," and he paid it. Right, when most of the women got paid like $50,000 or so, because he, that's what he would offer, right? But this, it's just there's a lot in this article that I think you should read the article before.
Okay. I mean, I thought what you're saying, that's all stuff that I read, and yes, I'm not saying that it's good behavior or appropriate behavior, but it's again, compared to what Harvey Weinstein did, it's more in the realm of the everyday of somebody who's got a bit of money.
It doesn't make it right.
Doesn't make it right. No, but it doesn't make it right. But like people cheat on girlfriends and do all this sort of stuff all the time. He's famous, so he's got some money. He can, if he doesn't want it to come out, then he can afford to pay someone to not let it come out. Did he? I mean, I get what he's being did is wrong, but he's all right. Okay. So now he's got to deal with it. So fine.
When on the show did I
compared to crimes other people have committed, I just think it's okay.
I don't know.
I mean, let him who's innocent throw the first stone, I suppose.
Let's draw something.
I am drawing something. Are you guys drawing? I thought it was
I haven't hit on a good subject yet.
Well,
I usually like a subject normally throws itself up after we chat for a little bit.
Well, I picked a subject before we started, so.
Oh yeah, So who are you drawing there?
George Carlin.
Oh, George Carlin. Yes, that's nice. Well, here we are in the middle of January. What is going on? What else is going on in the news? Is there any good movies coming out?
What else is going on in the news? We're not supposed to talk about political stuff.
No, I mean, is there anything like good things that are coming out that we want to celebrate?
I guess Nosferatu is in the theaters. It's supposed to be really good.
Nosferatu. That's a good one.
Yeah.
How was that? I liked the Nosferatu with Klaus Kinski. That was very funny.
Well, I'm so behind on media.
You're very behind on that one because that was out in the 1970s or something.
Well, I'm talking about the remake that they just made.
Yes.
Yeah.
Typically, vampire movies suck.
But
get it?
There seemed to be some complaints that Nosferatu was too beardy or something. That was the only thing
That was too what?
Too beardy or something. Or he had a big mustache. People were complaining about.
But that was the style of the time.
Okay.
People want their vampires slightly androgynous.
Do they?
Yeah. It's uncomfortable when the vampire is a bear.
I don't know.
Nah, just look at all the vampire actors throughout history. They're usually clean cut, well shaven, well dressed. You hardly ever see lumberjack vampires.
This is true.
Yeah.
Well, there's also What We Do in the
Bela
Shadows. That
Lugosi.
show's not very popular.
Bela Lugosi was he had a kind of a hairy back. You know, if we're being honest here, you know, he was not. He's not, and a lot of his later roles, like Devil Bat, is a good one where he was not clean in Devil Bat. He had his hair all greasy in front and stuff, and he was all disheveled as the scientist that was screwed over by the perfume company.
No, I can't remember. Was he in Devil Bat's Daughter as well? Or
I don't remember if he was in Devil Bat's Daughter, but in Devil Bat, do you remember what the scheme was in Devil Bat?
Yeah, it was a perfume that attracted bats.
That attracted one particular evil bat, the Devil Bat, right? And he gave the cologne.
I don't think bats can be evil. I think they can be trained for evil.
Well, this one was trained to attack this particular perfume.
Bats are a necessary part of the ecosystem.
Yes, they are. But this one was a devil bat, so this one was evil. Anyway,
they're pretty much just mice with wings. They're like angel mice.
Yes, they are. But this particular devil bat,
kid.
Yes, he made millions for the perfume company, and they gave him $10,000. Hey, thanks for making us millions, right? And so he gave him, his latest creation, this cologne. Doesn't it smell nice? And the devil bat killed them all. It's one of my favorite Bela Lugosi movies.
Yeah, don't watch Wait, you like that movie more than you like Glenn or Glenda?
Glenn or Glenda's not, it has its moments, but
what about Plan 9? You have to admit his performance in Plan 9 was awesome. He actually changes height during the movie. Well,
from the performance they have of him, that's not his chiropractor doing this in the movie.
That's an urban legend.
Yeah. But yeah, it's Plan 9. I like more than Glenn and Glenda. Glenn and Glenda kind of drags.
Get it?
It drags.
It's very slow.
It drags.
Yeah, I'm gonna try my milk.
You've never seen Glenn and Glenda, kids. You'll get.
Yeah, the kids probably don't know what we're talking about. Young people.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Don't even know anymore.
Young people don't watch.
There's a sort of window for knowing about that.
Well, anyone who's seen the movie Ed Wood would know.
Yeah.
All right. I was at a party last night. I was trying to tell them about this cool that English movie with the space wizards with the laser swords and the
Krull
and the space gorilla and the pirate.
Oh, Flash!
No, not that. The one with the big space station that looked like a boob and
Battlestar Galactica.
No, it's the one with Debbie Reynolds' daughter. And the guy from
no, she never was in Clue because she had to go to rehab. That's right.
No,
you're talking about the older version of that one with Jude Law in.
Yeah. The one with the guy who played Van Helsing in all the Hammer movies.
Yeah. There's that really cool new show with Jude Law and these kids, and they go in space with robots.
Yeah, it's the Goonies.
And it's based on some old crap from the past. Yeah, but it's more modern now.
Well, I was trying to tell someone yesterday about it because it was really popular when I was a kid, and this person had never heard of it. I was really surprised by that.
That happens sometimes,
Yeah.
See, this may come as a surprise to you, but new people, they're born on the planet all the time. And they have
how does that happen?
exposure to the stuff on the planet, like before they're there.
Where do these new people come from?
When a mommy human and a daddy human love each other very much, they have a special hug.
Yeah.
And they make a new human.
Oh. Is that kind of like sex?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm using a brush called the Milt Kniff brush.
Ooh.
It's like, it's really kind of goopy.
Ooh.
Goofier the brush, the better.
Yeah.
Well, not really a lot of room.
There we go. Starting to turn into something.
All right. Well,
how are you doing, Chuck?
I'm sort of recovering a bit from this cold that I had. It was kind of a nasty. I'm not sure if it was quite a flu because I'm not really. I mean, maybe I had a bit of a fever at the beginning, but it seemed more. It was just like a lot of coughing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sort of over it now, but I guess it sort of gave a good start to the year because it gave me a reason to stop doing everything. So I gave up everything, including caffeine. Because Lemon is always telling me, my friend Jonathan Lemon, nationally syndicated cartoonist, he says caffeine is as bad as heroin. So I'm like, well, that's rubbish. I'm going to give up caffeine.
Yeah, sure it is.
But actually, that's the one thing that I've just been constantly craving is caffeine. Tina's also given up too. Tina just does whatever I'm doing. So
yeah,
she also gave up. But she says it's no problem for her to give up caffeine.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm a little suspect because I feel like it's quite hard.
She's not going down to Starbucks.
Meanwhile, I've got everything else, and that's all going fine.
She's not going down to Starbucks and cheating.
Yeah, well, maybe she is. Actually, she did have a cup of tea this morning.
You know what?
So we've had Tina,
chat.
You had a cup of tea this morning.
We've had chat, and we have not been paying attention. We've been so bad. Tina says good morning. Figure in Landscape says good morning, artist. Friend of Dale here. I'm also an artist. I got jobs. I suppose good jobs through ads. And then Figure in Landscape says I'm still working on the terror bird illustrations. I'm sorry, Figure in Landscape, that we ignored you. Yes, I did not mean to ignore you. It's my fault.
I haven't called. I'm a horrible friend.
Yeah, so I did not mean to ignore you, Figure in Chat. I guess if Charles isn't here, it's me that's doing that part. That's
I guess.
Yeah. I guess it's me doing that part. So
someone's got to do it.
Yeah. Well, I didn't realize I was still on the design window, and then I'm like, oh, I should check this.
It's very much part of our new format to try and be more responsive to viewer comments.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised we have any.
Yeah. And it's your friend.
I normally I don't have friends.
You're talking to two of them right now.
You're not friends. You're colleagues.
Hey.
There's a difference. There's pals, friends, colleagues, chums.
You don't consider me a friend?
I consider you a chum. I've given you an honorary wiener.
Yeah, we're more people for Dale to stalk, really. He just considers us like two of his his stalking victims that he's been most successful with.
Potential victims.
I thought just a stalking victim, you're just because you're stalking them, then you don't have to do anything. You just stalk them.
I actually talked about that last night, and it turns out that I'm just too lazy to stalk people. There's a great number of crimes I could have committed over my lifetime that I was just too lazy to do it.
That sounds like it would be a popular show, though. The Lazy Stalker. I mean, you could go on a lecture tour and book series with that. That's a podcast, book, lecture. It could even be a movie. The Lazy Stalker. The thing is, the trick is you don't do anything criminal because you're too lazy.
Yeah. Ooh,
So
that would be a good
someone without breaking the law.
That would be a good podcast.
I can see I'm getting ready.
We could have a podcast of crime for non-criminals. You know, things that you could do that would make you feel like a criminal, but not actually break the law. Like, what's a good one? Not tipping. That's
just mean, especially if the person gave really good stuff. Honey, Ian, can you help her?
No, what do you need, honey?
Okay. She's really hungry.
Hungry?
Yeah, that's just mean, especially if the person gave you good service.
Right there.
okay. Well, you don't have to do it. We can come up with other non-crimes.
Take that into your bag.
Um,
No granola?
Like, are they all mean? These
Well-
non-crimes? Like, could they be nice? Like you know, you wear ski mask and go and fill everyone's meters. You know, it's like, come on. I mean, do they all have to be mean?
well,
No, they should be nice. I mean, if you're like, the lazy stalker, you should do things like you should go up and pay their tip for them or something.
well, technically, a back rub is a stabbing without a knife.
And but also don't forget, Dale. We do suspect him of being a cannibal. I didn't bring that up on the show lately, but he is currently on my possible.
Not intentionally.
Not intentionally, he says.
Yeah, there's been a few restaurants that are suspect.
Now, there was some other show I saw the other day where they were going on quite heavily about cannibalism. I thought, I don't know. Dale may be correct in his theory that all movies and television are really just trying to prime us to accept cannibalism.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's coming.
We read these articles about Neil Gaiman and people, and then, we think, well, maybe cannibalism isn't so bad.
It's just something that civilization has temporarily stepped away from.
There's reasons for that.
Well, yeah.
Civilization. I don't think civilization ever really embraced cannibalism.
Well, it's a luxury item.
Well, yeah, the luxury that you don't have a civilization.
Cannibalism, when you think about it, requires a lot of manpower.
Yeah.
A lot of cooperation, too.
Yeah, and, you need to be...
What, you don't know where to go from there? Of a lot of
I don't want to say... anything I'm going to say is just going to be offensive and upsetting.
Yeah, no more offensive than what we spoke about earlier in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to do something nice like vampires.
All right, vampires, that's cannibalism. Zombies, it's cannibalism. Why do you think they were so hot for a while? That's because the man was
I don't know if zombies were ever hot.
No, but they're pushing the concept of it, so it's no longer a scary thing. People are used to it. Anyway, most of us don't know what goes in our food anyway.
Yeah.
This is why I live primarily on oatmeal and pudding cups.
Did you know that 20% of Americans think that chocolate milk comes from brown cows?
Brown cows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sad.
20%.
And by the way, Figure Landscaping says, you are a horrible friend, Dale. What am I? Friend? Fiend? What? And then
potential dinner.
Potential dinner. That's what you are.
Yes. Everyone here is potential dinner.
Potential dinner. Let's see.
No. For
Do
Lance,
you want to cut away to a song real quick?
do I?
Sure.
Well, I'm
doing a sort of pencil. I'm trying to be a little more. My resolution, one of my resolutions, is, apart from giving everything up, is to try and do a little more careful drawings, like doing a little underdrawing. I'm not sure it's really helping, but all right. Too easily distracted.
Oh, are you going to destroy that box? Am I going to have to get a whole new box for my dad's stuff? Cat's destroying a box over here.
That's
He's
what
like,
cats do.
I know, but I don't want him to.
Well,
You know, I could go over there and scold him, but he'll just.
I
keep
saw
doing
my
it.
cat's lawyer last night.
Your cat's lawyer?
Yes. Huey
Why
has
does your cat have a lawyer?
Huey has a lawyer on retainer, Rad Abrams, skateboard attorney. And the coolest thing about running into him last night is you can get. Hang on, I gotta get up to the camera. You can get little Rad Abrams pins.
He's a skateboard attorney?
Yeah, he specializes in skateboard-related crimes. He has these TV commercials where he's there with his board, and he tells you he's not a poser. And if you hire him, he can get you a beer or a bag of weed or some Tide Pods. He mostly his clientele is mostly skate punks, but he'll do cats.
So why is he Huey's lawyer?
Because Huey needs a lawyer.
Why does Huey need a lawyer?
Because he's an executive producer on TV now, remember? So he needs a lawyer.
Yeah, obviously, Amber, you didn't watch Huey's TV show.
Yeah. Okay, but the most interesting thing about this is I was up at Black and White Galleries in the old Felt building in San Francisco off York. And this little pin, this was given to me by one of the people who have the gallery. And it is Rad Abrams, skateboard attorney. But it's a sticker on the back of laser cut plastic with a pin back glued to it. And I was told these are from Sticker Mule, where you can upload an image and they'll make these pins, and they're relatively cheap. And they're
Wait,
not.
Dale, are you getting paid for this advertisement?
I get paid for all of them, dumbass. So, but I'm just letting the two of you know that this is an option besides just a traditional button maker and getting enamel pins. So I'm going to be.
Well, if you want to get any Urfspace stickers, go to Redbubble.
Yeah.
Search for Urfspace on Redbubble. I'm on there. And,
but I'm going to
my website, Urfspace.com, and there's a link to the Redbubble store there. It's a similar Sticker Mule. I've ordered stickers from Sticker Mule. They're fine, but Redbubble is my provider of choice.
Well, I want to explore these pins because if they're inexpensive enough, they're practically a gimme at a convention where you could give these out to attract people. So I'm always interested in swag tech.
Cat, get off of my buttons.
Are you going to come to the East Bay Comic Con on February 2nd, Dale?
Oh, God. I think I'm going to have to. First of all, it's up in Concord. One of the guests is going to be Captain Cosmic and my old buddy 2T2, the Wonder Robot, which used to live in Atlantis Fantasy World in Santa Cruz. I'm a big fan of the robot. Also, besides you being there.
Yeah, because you went to their funeral the other day. But they're back. That's the good thing about robots. They can die, but then you can fix them, and then they're back again.
Yeah. 2T2 will never die. But I think John Stanley, the old Creature Features horror host, is going to be there as well.
Thank you.
So if it's Chuck Whalen, yeah, I may go. If it's John Stanley, yeah, I'll probably go. But if it's 2T2, yeah, I'm going.
Definitely, yes.
That's my
well, I
robot.
realize I'm not as famous as a TV robot, but
A rusty old TV robot. A rusty old 500-pound TV robot.
But I do have a web show with someone that could be mistaken for Zach Galifinakis if he'd had a really bad night.
All my nights are bad.
And Amber, I don't know. Amber doesn't remind me of people as much as some people. Some people remind me of a lot of different people. I feel like
I'm not compared to a lot of people often. When I was younger, a friend of mine compared me to Janine Garofalo. And,
okay.
You know, I don't know. Let's see. Okay, I did a good ink layer. Let's do some shading.
Janine, I always liked Janine Garofalo. I was a bit annoyed she didn't do more stuff. I guess she did her radio show, which I never, or her podcast or whatever, that I never really listened to much. But I do like her. I wish she'd been in more things. Really, why is she not in more things? She doesn't like it.
They put her. She was on Saturday Night Live, but I don't think they used her effectively on it. She was on at the time with Chris Elliott, who's amazing.
Oh, Chris Elliott.
Yeah. Did you ever see his TV show Get a Life?
No.
Where he was a 30-year-old paper boy.
Well, he's one of those people. I'm curious what Amber thinks about Chris Elliott, because he's normally being quite offensive, isn't he?
Not that familiar with his comedy, actually.
He was a writer, I believe, on the David Letterman show.
Yeah, again, not that familiar with his comedy. Not familiar.
He's usually playing pretty awful characters. Like normally, his characters are just like you're just like, oh my god.
Well, he was in the classic movie Cabin Boy, which I highly recommend.
Really? Okay, I've never seen it.
Oh, Cabin Boy is a classic. You know, it's got Sharky, half man, half shark.
Okay.
It's a take-up of the old classic film Captain's Courageous. A takeoff of Captain's Courageous. And David Letterman makes a cameo appearance as a sock monkey salesman.
Oh, he was in Between Two Ferns, the movie as well.
Who?
David Letterman.
Oh. He's starting to look a lot like Evil Santa.
Yeah, they were. That's what Zach Galifinakis was calling him, like crack Santa.
Okay, I believe that.
Do you remember when Bobcat Goldthwait lit his couch on fire?
Didn't they kick him off the show?
Yes. It killed his career for years.
I think he was getting a bit tired of that character he was doing, though.
I don't know.
He went into sort of directing and doing other things, and he's often on the radio now. But you know, I think he got sort of like got a bit stuck in doing that character, and he was getting a bit bored of it.
Well, then why did he bring that character back for Hercules, for Disney's Hercules?
For $1. For the paycheck.
Yeah,
for the paycheck.
Exactly. You know,
I didn't say he was getting totally bored of it, like he never wanted to do it again, but he was feeling a bit reckless about that character at that point, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Played a good character in Scrooge, though. Like that character worked in Scrooge.
Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah. That was his. Wait. Oh, was he in Scrooge? He was more like the Mr. Sweet.
He
character.
was the Marley character.
Yeah, he's Marley in Scrooge. He goes on the shooting rampage at the end.
Yeah, and And Michael
Yeah, I can't
Caine
remember.
is Michael Caine plays Scrooge, and then
No.
Miss Piggy is Bobcat's wife.
No, you're getting a bit muddled up there. You're getting muddled up with the Muppet Christmas Carol.
Scrooged is a Bill Murray vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Is Michael Caine in that movie?
Yeah, Michael Caine is in the
Caine's
Muppet
in
Christmas
everything.
Carol. Michael Caine is Scrooge in the Muppet Christmas Carol.
No.
Yeah.
Getting it all mixed up. Michael Caine's in everything. Michael Caine is God.
I think he's only Scrooge in the Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yeah, I think you're trying to mix up the movies there.
Yeah.
Dale is just trying to confuse reality.
Why are you trying to confuse
blurry
me?
reality?
Because reality sucks.
I have to turn into a night owl now, which means that this show's going to be like my midnight show now. Because my new job.
Well, we hope you'll be able to continue doing this show, but we will understand if your new routine does not allow it.
Well, so far I was able to kind of sleep in this morning, you know. I mean, for me, it's 11 o'clock that the show starts. So it's not like, you know, I'm getting up and doing the show at 6 a.m. You know, if it was something like that, it's like, nah, that ain't going to happen because I got home at midnight last night.
Okay. Ooh, hello. Wait. Ooh, what's that? Ooh.
Yeah, let me play one of the songs from your album.
Oh, that's a good idea. Oh yeah. Well, Astro Kitty and the Urfspace 5 do have a new track coming out soon.
Oh, they do. Well, this one's Gravity.
And
I wish that gravity would stop working on just me so that I could float into the sky.
Weird. If I put Dale's video up, it takes over the whole screen.
Which it should.
That gravity would stop working on just me so that I could float into the sky.
Let's see. Okay. Let me put Urfspace in the big window.
I actually like that song.
Let's see.
Yes.
Tina says Chris Elliott was the mayor in the show Schitt's Creek, one of my faves. And Jonathan Lemon says, I think Dale is asleep. Hi,
I'm
hi,
always
Jonathan.
Hi, Lemon. We were just talking about you, Lemon, and
Yeah,
caffeine.
we were talking about
I
your
gave
philosophy.
up caffeine, Lemon, because you said it was worse than heroin, or just as bad as heroin. So I decided to prove you wrong. But apparently you're right, because I just craving caffeine non-stop all the time at this point. But so far I haven't cracked. But I don't know how long I'm going. I'm trying to do like a dry January, I suppose.
Are we going to wager on how long it takes before you crack?
Well, I
We
mean,
don't
I
have
think
to
I
do that.
can make it through January, and then beyond that, I don't know.
We don't have to be mean to him. That's not nice. We don't have to put it, make him feel bad when he
Okay,
cries.
well, let's just look
Well,
at
Amber,
this.
that's very nice. Thank you. I mean, I can take it. I grew up in a country where everyone's mean to each other all the time, just by default.
Yes,
so.
but in a polite way. They were snide. You have to remember, Chuck grew up in England, so like 50% of his body fluids is tea, when the other 50% is beer.
I literally, since I was 15, I think I've been more or less drinking caffeine non-stop all day long, every day. In the form of tea, which, like, we did an experiment in science class at school, and they said it had as much caffeine in tea as in coffee.
Mm-hmm.
So, there you go. But I don't mind. I mean, I was quite useful. It sort of kept me focused and interested. Without it, I'm a little bit sort of sleepy and bored.
You mean interesting?
Interesting? I don't know about that. No, probably not interesting. It's like drunk people. They think they're very interesting, but they're really not.
Taking a stimulant and it keeping your attention for long periods of time is a sign of having attention deficit disorder.
Well, okay, I am going to cop that you may be right, that I may have a small amount of that. I think, yeah, I think if I was more able to sort of go running around and doing that stuff, I'd probably do more of that. But I'm not really, so.
Your problem is that you're not shopping.
I used to be quite keen on wanting to do sports, but then I realised I was terrible at them, so I decided to just ignore them altogether, pay no attention to sports.
Sports is bad.
All right, I think they're better than war. I think sports are better than war. They're a good substitute for war.
The war is a sport.
I don't and then my brain goes back to that like Star Trek episode where the computer determines who dies because it's like, oh, the bombs would have fallen here, so you're dead, right?
I forgot that one. Okay, yeah.
War, right? But sports, it's like, oh, you lost the game. Okay, so then that means that the trade deal goes this direction because your warriors were not as good at the line of scrimmage as our warriors.
Yeah. Wait, there was another thing I saw with that where someone had to die. They were like, what was that?
Logan's Run? Logan's Run?
No, it wasn't Logan's Run. I don't know. But all these things kind of seem like I was watching the Hunger Games. I decided the Hunger Games was quite similar to Zardoz and Logan's Run and all those old movies.
Yeah, it's just the Logan's Run Zardoz of this generation.
Yeah, it and it's good that it's way more popular probably than Logan. I mean, I don't know. Logan's Run I think was probably quite popular, but Zardoz wasn't. Zardoz was famously unpopular.
Zardoz, Hey, Zardoz was very popular last night when I went to the party because I was handing out little 3D printed Zardoz heads.
I do
Wow,
kind of
where,
want
I
one.
never get invited to parties like that.
Now, this is one of the ones I first printed. Sadly, the teeth broke out when I removed the supports. This
Yeah.
is
Parties I go to, they've only
on.
got like cocaine and prostitutes, but
But I will be printing more, and people who insult me do not get one.
Okay, that's fine. I didn't insult you. I just asked if you bought a 3D printer just to print out little Zardoz heads if you have a gorilla suit to build.
Shh, we don't talk
yeah, exactly.
about.
Shouldn't you be focused on that?
I just asked a question. I didn't make fun of
I
it.
am focused on it. I am going over to see Ricky at the Puppetry Institute in the Capitola Mall in Capitola, California. If you ever want to learn how to build your own Muppet or even a wearable suit, contact Ricky and he'll help you out. You'll have to pay for the classes, but it's a great place to visit. And find out
all your
more.
furry needs.
One of the neat things about the Puppetry Institute is it's a nonprofit, and a good deal of the money
I wish they could be.
that I'm paying to learn how to build
make a profit.
the money that I'm paying to build the gorilla suit, a lot of that's being recycled as scholarships for kids. And so there's kids there learning how to build very sophisticated puppets and masks. I recommend if you're in the area and you're a Muppets fan or your kid wants to learn some sculpture skills and just to build things rather than be on the computer, talk to Ricky at the Puppetry Institute in the Capitola Mall.
I'm a Muppets fan. Tina doesn't like the Muppets.
Well, HBO for one.
But
Like most things Tina doesn't like, it's because she had an ex-boyfriend that likes it. If we ever split up, there's gonna be all sorts of things she doesn't like.
That's why Tina doesn't like me. I like you.
She doesn't like any recent Star Wars either. I mean, considering she used to be like dress up as Princess Leia and go.
No way.
Yeah, when she would go and see like. When back in the day when they would all go when original Star Wars was out.
Oh my God! I need
no way. Why did you never dress up with Princess Leia when I knew you? Well, no, she doesn't like that anymore.
I have never dressed up as Princess Leia. Is space drag technically still drag?
yes.
Okay, just checking.
Well, it's a sort of you're more allowed to, like if you're in space, then you can dress up how you like, can't you?
Yeah.
Like you don't. That's why sci-fi is popular, because you don't get all the social judgment. Well, I mean, you get some of it, but it's not as bad.
I think that you can dress up how you want because there's like more space between you and other people. Like, so yeah, you between porting, you open up the costume closet and yeah, it happens.
Yeah, you can say, well, I'm doing it because it's space, and then people don't mind, or like Dungeons and Dragons or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And then people get off, and it's like they get to show off their clothes. They never get to show off, but they get to show them off when they meet people, which is rare because there's a lot of space around everything.
Okay.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You want to look your best. If somebody's going to see you, you don't want to look like you've just sort of been sleeping in your pajamas on your spaceship.
I think people kind of dress up when they get off their ships, right?
You're like, no, look, I've been absolutely fabulous those 5 years in hypersleep.
Now, didn't Lucas say that there's no underwear in space?
He just said that to get Carrie Fisher to not wear underwear.
Did it work?
Yes.
That man's a genius.
All
Of course, wasn't she like 17 at the time?
Yep.
Okay, that's a little wrong.
Yep.
This is why I really like that movie Saltburn that was out recently, because she was Emerald Fennell, her name is, directing. But I was like, oh, she's having a laugh because she was really directing the men like a sort of 60s director would direct the women, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like making the men do all these things, and I thought it was a really good movie.
Well, the neat thing about sci-fi is you can dress women up in ridiculous costumes. I mean, men too, but you can really have fun with the women. The original Star Trek series, they pushed a few boundaries there. And then, of course, Logan's Run, it was all girls in negligees. Space 1999, they put them all in jumpsuits. And I was watching that as a kid, and I'm going, what the?
And then they copied it in the Star Trek The Next Generation, really, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, they just do not understand who the target audience is.
Well, I think they do, because Star Trek The Next Generation was incredibly popular. And I know people that don't really like any of that sort of stuff that like Star Trek The Next Generation.
It was fun.
I mean, my friend Janae, she even got like, I was like, she even had a website called datalaw.com, because Data's evil brother Law.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes,
then
I
I never really did anything with it. And then eventually she sold it to somebody somebody paid good money to her to get datalaw.com off her.
I miss the old days when
George.
people would like buy the domain name for everything, just hoping someone else would buy it.
Yeah, I think
Well, also, but it's also a sort of cheap placeholder for intellectual property, like rather than going through all the trouble of registering a trademark or something.
Yeah, I think now legally you can't do it. It favors corporations that if you get the URL first, the corporation can sue you, and so you're just doing it for the money.
Now, Amber, what inspired you to do George Carlin? That's looking very good. It does look like him.
I'm working at a comedy club.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh, that's right. He was a comedian.
So you were thinking about him. Why aren't the other comedians these days as good? Although I think it took him a long time, didn't he? I mean, I heard that he would like sort of been doing around. He wasn't doing anything much, and then he went away, and all of a sudden he was George Carlin.
No, that's a misnomer. George Carlin back in the 70s was big, and then people thought it was the end of his career at the end of the 70s, and he had like a 3 to 4 year period where he had no career in comedy, right? You know, people would book him and stuff, and he had to like reinvent himself. And then when he came back in the 80s, that's when people were like, wow, where did this George Carlin come from? And he had a way bigger audience than he ever did in the 70s, but he had an established audience in the 70s.
Okay, and he was established. Yeah, he was established. Okay, all right, but but he did do some sort of reinvention in a way. Yeah.
But his comedy goes back to the 50s. To his group stuff.
Yeah, he's so great. I saw that like one of the last things he did was all about like the internet age.
Mm-hmm.
And like you read that and you're like, oh my God, he nailed it. It's so true. Everything.
Mm-hmm. He was very observant. And he created observant comedy. Right?
It's interesting. If you go on YouTube, you can find some of his early work on Carson. When he was clean cut.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch.
Yeah. He I have all of his books. I have all of his albums. I have all of his specials, save his Lost special, which is called I Really Like It When a Lot of People Die. And the reason why it's his Lost special is because it was due to be released either 9/11 or the day after 9/11. Either
Oh,
way,
shit.
9/11 happened, and they went, nope, nix. And so HBO has never put that one on DVD, and they never aired it, and so it's considered his lost special. Now he did a tour of it, so people did hear those jokes, right? But the recording of it for the special has never been released because 9/11 happened. Yeah, and I guess a lot of his jokes on that just wouldn't have hit well with 9/11. And so it was like, yeah, let's not do that.
Oh,
And
yeah. Okay. Sure.
yeah, and
Yeah.
so
Everything got so funny then. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
we've been attacked. We've been attacked. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh.
yeah.
Yeah. We got
And
attacked.
so again, that was one of his things, was like, you know, again, he was like, I kind of like it when a lot of people die. And one of his jokes that I know was in that special, but I don't know how he said it. I just know it was kind of along the lines of like, when that happens, like the population goes down, so there's more food for people, there's more like money for people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like there's a big uproar of an audience like laughing at that and clapping, and it was a long clap because it was a funny thing. But that was one of the jokes that they highlighted as an example of like why they couldn't have that out for 9/11, like around 9/11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
9/11. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's true. Yeah, I mean, after in the Middle Ages, you know, after the Black Death, there was a very good time for social mobility, and like women went into the workforce and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Similar with World War I and II, I suppose.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, we're still living in the world created by World War II, more or less. Yeah.
We're still living in the world created by World War I.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I guess we're living in the world created by everything that happened in the past. All right. But we can make a better world. We can make a better world. We can play sports instead of killing each other. And then one day we can do role-playing games instead of sports. But then
That'd be
we'll
nice.
all be around
The whole point of sports is to train people for war.
No. It's an avoid war. Haven't you
No.
seen? I showed you the Canterbury Tale. Don't you remember? And it ends with the boys playing soccer. And you know that's the world that we got. We play soccer now instead of killing each other with because Nazis bamboozled us into thinking it's a good idea to go to war. But the trouble is we keep dealing with them in the wrong way. Like we tend to just want to blow them up back, which really just makes things worse. That's just falling into their little game. All right. Well, yeah, we were
from Brooklyn. Let me put up another song. And
let's not think about Nazis.
No, I will put up another song. I will do Into the Radlands.
Oh, yes.
Here we go. Oh, this is our intro song.
Yes. Well, Tina said it sounded like a very exciting TV show, and I was like, yes. Oh, I forgot to mention, I had some fun this week. I went and did some live painting at the Ivy Room in Albany as part of Bang the Bay, which is an event organised by this guy, Lee Hoffman, who's a nice guy with a green mohawk that I was referred to. And I guess he liked my art and invited me to do some live drawing. which was a bit scary actually. Sort of like, I mean, there's one thing on art. I suppose art battle, you're sort of on stage and they're all prepared for you.
Yeah.
But this, you know, it's like you go sit in the corner, stand in the corner. Well, not in the corner, but you know, I was sort of standing there, just sort of having to do it without a net.
Yeah.
But it went well. It was fun. I got a lot of really nice compliments from people. I did. I don't know if you can quite see it very well. There's one behind me. I did 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll do that again maybe. And there is an art battle this week. I'm not competing in it this week, but there's one in San Francisco, the Great Northern, on Wednesday. I might go along and check it out.
Art battle sucks. Always the pretty girls that win.
Yeah, you don't have very long in 20 minutes. Like that's the nice. This thing, you know, I could spend a little while on each one. So yeah.
I'm using, you know, brushes I don't normally use. Trying to like get out of my comfort zone and like, I'll pick up one and I'm like, oh, I don't like it, but I've already used it. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't like this brush. I'm stuck using this brush.
I know.
I know.
I'm the same. I have like tons of brushes, but there's only like a very small number of them that I actually ever really like to use.
Yeah,
Pick up.
custom brushes are a scam.
You know, it's weird because like when I get brush packs and stuff, I always end up finding like 2 or 3 brushes.
Yep. Yeah, kids,
Packed
the
absolutely
money
love,
isn't
and
in
it's
the
like,
art,
okay,
it's
worth it.
making the art materials. So if you get into Studio Paint or Photoshop or Procreate, don't bother making any art in it. Just make custom brushes, custom papers, custom backgrounds, and sell them. And kids will buy them.
Yeah, don't be creative at all.
No,
Yeah,
don't.
just just
Well,
so
you're creative in that you're making brushes, but you want to sell the art supplies, not the art.
Yeah, well, that's the same in the gold rush. You know, the people selling the shovels made the money. Well, I mean, some of the people that found gold did too, but you know, it's more easy to make money selling shovels than digging for gold.
Yeah. And then,
But
you know, the
screw
guy
that.
selling the guy.
We say
selling the
screw
shovel.
that. We're artists. It's like the first time I went to Comic-Con, I was like, I should be selling hot dogs. You know, the people selling hot dogs there were queues and people were paying vast sums of money for terrible hot dogs.
Yeah.
And you're like, that. That's business.
Yeah.
You know, I've had the same idea at Renaissance fairs about lemonade slushies, because it's so hot at like Renaissance fairs and stuff about just selling lemonade slushies because people would buy them.
Yeah.
You know, it's hot. It wouldn't even need alcohol in it. You know,
they're always on the sort of cheapest bit of desert anyone can find.
Yeah.
Which is actually quite accurate to the Renaissance. All right.
Accurate. I don't know. I have a sort of love-hate with Renaissance fairs because they come up and everyone starts talking at you in a stupid English accent, and then you respond to them, and then you get a bit confused. So, like, then I have to start talking like that or something.
Why? Because you have an actual English accent?
It sort of confuses
actual stupid
if you have an
English
actual
accent.
English accent. They don't quite know how to react because they're all doing their fake English accents.
Well, you know, come on, it's quaint. They're trying to sound English.
I know. They love it. I know. If you were doing any other accent in the world, it would be like offensive and racist. But
They sell more beer and turkey legs if they use a fake
if it's an
accent.
English accent, that's fine.
Oh, if you want bad
I always
English
think of Mary's
accents,
accent.
if you want bad English accents, go to the Dickens Fair in San Francisco.
Well, yeah. Well, I went to the Dickens Fair and I realized after talking to some of them, they do the Renaissance Fair in the summer and they do the Dickens Fair in the winter. It's the same
Yeah.
people doing the same accent, just wearing
Yes.
different clothes.
Yes.
I love the
But that's
Dickens
fine. But I
Fair.
love them. I mean, I don't,
Of course you do.
I just think it's funny. I mean, if I went around and started doing that, well, I do my American accent sometimes. That always gets people to shut up.
That's because your American accent's offensive.
Yeah, it's offensive. That's what I'm telling you. It's offensive when someone does your accent in a bad way, even if they mean to be like doing it. Because I know they sort of do it. They do it because they love it. They like, they love doing an English accent. I know, I get that.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they do it at Ren fairs, though, because the Renaissance people, they weren't English.
They're Italian.
Yeah, they'd all be talking like this.
Or Spanish.
Or Spanish, yeah.
Oh, well, that reminds me. I was watching Sharp. That's good.
Oh, are you still watching that?
Much simpler in the Napoleonic Wars.
Yeah, one of the few things Sean Bean's been on where he doesn't die within 20 minutes.
Well, that and the movie Ronin.
Oh, that's
Oh, I
true.
never saw that one. Oh, is he in that? Ooh.
I assume
Oh,
he
it's a
dies
good
off
movie.
camera.
What, does he die off camera in Ronin?
I assume he does.
No, he's just really bad at his job in Ronin.
Yeah, that's why he probably gets killed by a taxi crossing the street afterwards.
What is his job in Ronin?
You know, they're like mercs, right? And you know, thieves and robbers, and like, okay, we're gonna do this heist. You know, they're those kind of guys, like gangsters. You know,
They're spies.
they're spies.
Yeah.
Yeah, spooks.
Oh,
And,
yeah, okay. Wait. Yeah, that's not. I thought it was like a samurai movie. Wait, it's the one with John Reno,
No.
right?
John
John
Travolta.
Frankenheimer.
Robert De Niro, isn't it?
Robert De Niro. Yeah. All right.
It's
Okay. Well, I still don't think I saw it though, but maybe I did.
it's a great movie.
Yeah, it's really good.
It makes a good double feature with Day of the Jackal.
Oh, Day of the Jackal.
Everything makes a great double feature with Zardoz. I actually took a copy of Zardoz to the party I was at. I discovered that the inside pockets of my pea coat are just large enough to store a DVD of Zardoz.
Wait, what, a pea coat? I thought
Yes.
those went out with Jane Austen.
No, this is a pea coat, which they call that because they're made with pea. That's how they treat the wool.
Is this because you've been watching Bridgerton?
No, I don't watch that.
I don't either. It's really annoying. I'm like, if they put a dragon in it, I'd watch it.
Bridgerton is just
like as if
space
it's not all-
1999 set in the past without the spaceships.
It's like Game of Thrones. Apparently, his wife said he didn't want to put dragons in. His wife says, "Oh no, you have to put dragons in." I think that was a good idea. You want to watch it if it's got dragons in it.
Okay, Game of Thrones was simply just, which ended up the last few Star Wars movies. Game of Thrones is just a hot English actress delivery vehicle.
Sure.
There was you
Well,
can Google the article,
English
but
racist about English actresses.
you can
I
Google,
thought it was a retelling of War of the Roses, but with dragons. And then Figure in Landscaping says, "Tell Dale to call me this week. It's not about Ellen. Thanks."
oh God, email me your phone number again. in case I don't have it. I do have to talk to her about Ellen. Don't grow old, guys.
Can't stop it. Might as well embrace it.
No thanks.
Can't stop it. Might as well embrace it.
Pretty
That's
soon
good.
I'm
That's
gonna-
like if you can't beat them, join them.
Pretty soon I'm going to have a new. I'm going to have my own parking space at Kaiser. Oh, that's right. Show and tell. Check them
Oh,
out.
what? Oh wait.
No.
Dude.
Too
Wait.
late.
Let me do it
You missed
right.
your
Let me do
opportunity.
it right. Hang on. Wait. Dale's Retail Roundup.
Thanks.
I did a little
Thanks a
too
lot.
much pee on that, but all right. There you go.
I got new glasses. Check them out. You may not have noticed that I have new glasses, and the reason you didn't notice was they're almost exactly the same as my old glasses.
I need new glasses. That's a good idea.
Yeah, they're just off enough to make me dangerous while I'm driving. And I showed you that I'm now printing little Zardoz heads, which I've. This is one. It was a test, but
Can people order those if they want one?
No, tough. Well, there is one exception. New Yorker cartoonist Shannon Wheeler really begged me for one, so I'm going to print him one today and mail it to him.
Well, yeah, you better give Shannon Wheeler one because of Shannon Wheeler.
Yeah.
I love Shannon Wheeler.
So if you're a cartoonist who's been published in the New Yorker, I'll think about it.
Yeah.
I like Shannon.
Yeah. Figure and Landscaping says okay, by the way.
I remember the first Comic Con I did at Ape. He came up to my table and I got very excited. I was like, I don't know. I mean, I'd read too much Coffee Man. He was like, I felt like I was meeting a big famous celebrity or something. And
he is a
coming
big
up.
famous celebrity. Well, he's not that big, but he's a famous celebrity. I do like Shannon Wheeler. I have an original or two by him. Okay. Also, last night I went to Black and White galleries in the old Felt Factory, and I saw my current living favorite horror host, Mr. Lobo, and I got a new tie from Mr. Lobo, which he autographed to my cat Dee.
Oh,
See,
so
he
you've
already had a tie.
You've forgiven him for cutting down your cat jokes from 3 hours to 2.
No, this is part of a long plan of revenge. But also, as a tie clip, I got a Cinema Insomnia enamel pin, which is pretty cool. But I needed a new tie for National Gorilla Suit Day, which is January 31st. And if you have a substandard suit, which I have, you want to accessorize your gorilla suit. So, a hat, a tie, a bathrobe, a tutu. Always try to distract from the failings in your gorilla suit by wearing accessories.
I would think having the gorilla suit on National Gorilla Suit Day would be enough.
Oh, no. That's spoken like someone who doesn't regularly wear gorilla suits. Now, you applied for a job where you were going to wear a gorilla suit, didn't you?
Yes, and you said that the quality was not up to your standards.
No. This was at Casa Bonita, which has part of their act a gorilla suit, and you can Google images online of their past gorilla suits, and honestly, I was not impressed. You think a quality organization like that would put the money into the gorilla suit, but no. This is why they're failing.
Well, I mean, now they have a little bit of money behind them, so maybe now they can put some money
Yeah.
into their
That
gorilla
big
suits.
South Park money.
But don't they? They probably have a lot of concerns. I mean, if you're doing that, that's like a gorilla suit that's got to be very hard wearing day in and day out, and so they probably have to get replaced. They certainly need to be very washable. I don't know. So they've got different concerns with the gorilla suits. I mean, you could lose a lot of money on your gorilla suits that way.
Well, first of all, the gorilla suits that you buy now, they're not washable. Gorilla suits are typically, there's no gorilla suit setting on your Kenmore washer. So you're either washing these things by hand or you're not washing them at all.
You've never worked
But
with
then you smell like.
What?
You've never worked with mascot costumes before, have you, Chuck?
No, I never have. They slightly creep me out, and I think I'd probably just fall over. So.
Yeah.
So there's a particular kind of regiment of cleaning a mascot costume, gorilla suit or otherwise. And you have to clean the inside a certain way. You have to clean the outside a certain way. You have to brush out the fur.
Yep.
You have to, like if it's white fur, you have to use bleach in order to get all the like dirt and whiten up the fur again. If it's colored fur, you have to make sure that like there's no stains or anything. And there's certain like chemicals you have to keep away from it.
Yep. Best treat some of these things like lingerie. You just wear it, and then once your partner starts to notice the stains, you just buy a new one.
But these are really expensive gorilla suits you're talking about.
Yeah.
Do you wear lingerie, Dale?
No, I do not wear lingerie. I have worn extremely expensive shorts. But that's
they tried lingerie for men at one point, I seem to remember. I think that didn't last.
Yeah, they replaced that with monster trucks.
One day it'll catch on.
What, lingerie for men?
Lingerie for men. I feel like
I thought that was just like boxers. Just
there's a lot of like skirts for men are quite popular now. But I think keep trying these things, but they don't really stick. I mean, somewhat. I mean, okay. I mean, I don't know. In fact, at one point, men were wearing like wigs and makeup and all this sort of stuff. But when
you know why they were wearing wigs and makeup, right? That was to hide
they were bald and they had scabs.
They were hiding the pock marks from smallpox. They were hiding the sores from syphilis. The wigs were because they were going bald from syphilis. The hair was coming out in patches. So most of our founding fathers, they had STDs.
They were syphilitic baldos. That's what you're saying.
And I think it's fair to say that Benjamin Franklin probably spread many STDs around the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always most famous.
When he was the diplomat for the United States in France, he was in the whorehouses so much that's where they knew to find him. That's where they knew to find him to get him to go and like do legislation and stuff and like do his job as a diplomat. Like they'd be like, oh, go get Franklin in the whorehouse so that he can write this letter or whatever he needed to do. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure all that stuff will be coming back soon.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I think I'm done with this George Carlin too.
Yeah, you did young George Carlin. That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's good. You're getting really good likenesses on these characters that you're doing.
Yeah, he's got big eyes. He's got his big puppy dog George Carlin eyes.
All right. So George Carlin is like, he's the standard we should be aspiring to as men.
I think that he was very observant. He was very smart. And he was unafraid to ask, why are we doing this? Why are we, why is this a standard? Why is this the tradition? Why are we scared of this? Why is this word not okay? And he didn't ask in a way that was like, demanding, but just inquisitive. And I think people found that very dangerous, even though the U.S. versus George Carlin is kind of what it's called, of the 7 words you can't say on television. He wasn't actually involved in that case. It was a radio station that played his record, and they played his record of the 7 words you can't say on television a little after 3:00 in the afternoon. And a man that was very Christian, had picked up his son after school, was driving his son home from school after 3:00 in the afternoon, and the 7 words you can't say on television came on the radio. Well, he was upset that his son heard the 7 words and that there was no warning or anything that was going to be on there. So that was why he was upset, is that there wasn't a warning. And it went all the way to the Supreme Court of whether or not those words were allowed to be on broadcast. And the final decision was that they could, but there had to be a warning and there had to be a rating system. And if those words were on broadcast, they would have to be fined. And, like all this shit came out about it. And he wasn't called as a witness once. And it was his own damn set. And it was this radio station that was like, no, we deserve the right to play what we want to play. And this father was like, but at 3:00 in the afternoon, I'm driving my son home and he shouldn't be hearing motherfucker on the radio.
Language.
And
Hearing it.
well, and the thing is it's an interesting time stamp of that period, right? Because language has gotten so loose since then that we don't realize what an impact those 7 words had on language at the time, right?
But it's still true. When we were on the radio, like, he played Chris's song and like hadn't been aware that it's got some dirty words in it that aren't allowed on the radio, you could get $10,000 fine for each use of those words.
Yeah, when I worked QC at Cronky Sports and Entertainment, I did quality control for Outdoor Channel and World Fishing Network. And so part of my job was every time I heard the F word, every time I heard, the NF word, or every time I heard shit, or every time I heard the word crap, or every time I heard anything like that, I'd have to write it down and take it into my boss. And basically we'd have to, write in the FCC and, write them a check for these fines, because our producers refused to edit their episodes. And so they just wanted to pay the fines.
All right. Well, we were told that the fine, you'd only have to pay the fine if somebody reported it within 3 days.
Well, but again, I was QC, and my job, even though I was hired by Cronky Sports and Entertainment, my job was as a standards practice by the FCC. So my job, when I saw it, my job was to report it. And so our producers, the rule was that they didn't want to change anything, so we just paid the fines. And so, I would, right there, that's $500 here. There's another $500. There's another $500, because it was a cable, and it was cable where you're like paying specialty cable. It was like a particular thing. It was only $500 per violation versus $10,000, which is public broadcast radio. right? That
Yes.
has a broader reach versus cable where someone's paying for the channel and like it has a much narrower reach. That's why it was only a $500 fine.
Okay, that's
This
interesting.
is
Yeah.
this is Twitch, so we just have to like put a quarter in the tip jar.
We could put a quarter in the tip jar. We can also say, hey, we have bad language, you know, and like if you hear it, sorry.
Yeah, kids.
Well, we're
boys out there.
trying to be a family show, but we're certainly not made
No,
for
we
kids.
don't.
Yes, we
I'm
do.
checking in on Dale.
I don't curse.
I'm checking in on Dale and what he's drawing. Can you zoom out?
Hang on, I'll turn the blue line off.
Wait, there's like people in vats. What is going on here? There's a whip. Like
Okay, there looks like they're little elves, Oompa
Yeah.
Loompas. Is Willy Wonka and his Oompa Loompas. He's got an Oompa Loompa in a vat. Is he making Oompa Loompas? There's a sexy Oompa Loompa with a Madonna bra
I
on.
think it's the Willy Wonka like torture facility for the Oompa Loompas.
It's just the factory floor. Don't read anything into it.
You're gonna get arrested making drawings like that.
Yeah. I'm sure the Roald Dahl estate is going to be angry with me.
Okay.
Well, how do you know if it's an Oompa Loompa or I don't know. All right.
At least I'm not cutting off their snozberries.
I mean, could Darren Bell just say he was doing Oompa Loompas?
By the way, you have 20 minutes.
Yeah. I'm not gonna finish anything.
Why? There's never enough time for these things. So I'm doing
Not enough time.
It isn't about finishing the drawing. It's
I've
about
done 2 drawings. I have enough time for a third drawing.
Well, that's because you're a mom. You're used to working fast.
I'm trying to do it
I
like
will not-
careful.
I am an
rolling.
old codger. I will not be held to the same standards as a young mother.
I'm not that
It's
young.
all right. I'll be done. It's all right.
I'm going to be 42 this year.
Freaking kid.
Uh,
Oh, I'm going to be 42. Look, I'm slightly taut.
no, I'm 42 is like not that young. It's at the top of the hill. You know?
Yeah,
Like,
you're on the plateau.
I'm not over the hill, but I'm
No.
looking over the hill.
You got to the top and you're like, oh, I guess I don't have much more climbing to do. Just rolling
I
forward
don't have
down
much
now.
more climbing to do. Yeah, it's like I'm pretty much at the plateau at
Okay.
the top of the hill.
Like,
I got a nice little
really
like
got at this
towel.
point.
Yeah, I got a nice little towel I'm sitting on. I got a little picnic up here. It's good, you know, but I'm gonna have to be coming down the hill pretty quick.
I don't know. I felt like though after 50, I started feeling a lot more confidence about my art.
I feel like in probably the last 5 years, I really started liking what I was making in my art. You know,
Yeah.
I finally reached a point where I was like, I reached a point of fuck it in my art, where it's like,
yeah,
I know language. I'm sorry, but I feel like that language is kind of important because it's part of the.
It's part of the art process.
It is, because when you reach that point, it's like you do it anyway in spite of doing it. You know, it's like I'm going to do it no matter how bad it looks, no matter how good it looks. I'm going to do it anyway, and we're going to make it work. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I mean, you're as good as the next guy at this point. that's the main thing I felt like. You know, it's like, okay, you know, you sort of go, well, you know, it's maybe not as perfect as I want it to be, but.
Yeah, I mean, you look at your drawing and you say, it's not that good. But there's always the New Yorker.
All right, awesome.
Yeah, one of the nice things about Mad kind of being a zombie magazine is you can like shoot lower with your quality of cartoons.
When Ryan and I used to date, what he used to like to do with his zombies is he would draw just regular people and then he would kill them. Right? And so he would draw, regular people shambling around, and then he would like break their jaws and rip off their arms, and this guy's now got a skull instead of a regular face, and I don't know how like he'd tear them apart after he drew the regular people, and it made him like more realistic because of that negative space he added because of the removal of things. Like rather than like drawing the zombie already missing the arm, he would like draw the arm in and then erase the arm, right? Because like the way he described it, the zombie would be shambling along as if it still had the arm, because in its mind it doesn't realize it's missing an arm. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it was an interesting mentality of drawing zombies.
well, watching some of that Walking Dead, Those Who Live, because I watched all of Walking Dead and I got very annoyed with it at the end that it wasn't going to end properly, because he said he was going to end it properly, and then it sort of went and bifurcated into all these different shows I didn't really want to watch. But I thought, okay, I'll watch this one. I don't know if it's any good so far.
Okay, whenever someone says they're going to end the series properly, they're lying.
I stopped watching, like when I was pregnant, I was like, okay, I'm going to sit down and watch The Walking Dead, right? Because I was sick as a dog. I had very little else I could do but watch TV, and I'm like, well, I stopped watching it at this point at some point. So I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna pick it up from where I stopped watching it. I'm gonna watch The Walking Dead all the way through from where it was. And I stopped watching it like when Carol got her little house that used to belong to the old lady that turned into the zombie that had like the fence around it. And,
yes, so they met the kingdom and all that.
Yeah, and the thing is it's like, what I like about Kirkman's writing with Invincible is there's hope in it, right? But Kirkman's writing with The Walking Dead is there's no hope in that world. Like all those people have already given up on their humanity.
Yeah, it's relentlessly miserable. I was always like, I mean, I didn't mind because like a lot of British shows and things, and British soap operas and stuff would be relentlessly miserable. So it was a little more, but I was like, it's pretty miserable, certainly for an American show.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, but like in the worst of it, you would have gallows humor. You would have levity, right? In the worst of it, you would have somebody who would laugh at the way that a walker stumbled down a cliff just because it struck him funny, right?
Yeah.
And I know that seems like it's gallows humor, but that's what humanity is like. If you read books about people who survived the Holocaust, about what it was like inside the camps, at like Auschwitz and stuff like that, they had like dances and they would tell stories to the kids at night, and they would sing and stuff because they were trying to hold on to their humanity as little as they could in as grueling and as garish situation as they were in, and you're like, how can you have a dance when you're in the situation? And it's like, at that point, it's fuck it, I don't know. It's important to the sentiment,
I mean, Jerry Lewis tried to make that film, didn't he? The Clan That Cried, or whatever, or The Day the Clan Cried.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that will probably not be seen by human eyes for like 400 years. Right?
Harry Shearer said it was like looking. He said it was like the Holocaust painted like in a velvet painting or something.
Yeah, Yeah.
Well,
Well, I
there
mean,
was that. What's the name of that French comedian who was in one of the Clouseau movies? He did Life is Beautiful.
Oh yes,
um,
yes. So Roberto Benigni. Oh yeah. We went to the fancy Harris Steakhouse in town one time. We had family, and he was at a nearby table. It was right before or after he won the Oscar. So I think he was sort of shortly after, but everyone was expecting him to jump on his table or something, but he didn't. He just sat there and ate his dinner. But
Those of
he was
you
there.
who
But yeah,
remember,
he got an Oscar for it. Yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
And then he
those
made Pinocchio, and that movie bombed.
Oh,
those of
I tried to look at that. I'm sorry. Yeah, he really loved Pinocchio. He did it again. He's done it twice now.
Yeah. Yeah. He's trying to make that movie, but it's one of those that it's like I don't know. Like
Just do it bloody comedy. You're so good. He did some great comedies. Il Monstro, that's so funny. Johnny Stecchino, it's so funny. You know,
you're
one
gonna
of
his
say something,
Italian
Dale.
comedies are very funny.
You're gonna say something, Dale.
yeah, we need to get the talking stick back.
Hmm.
If those of you who remember the AIDS pandemic, which is still doing a slow burn through the world, there were actual magazines, humor magazines, that were all gallows humor for AIDS patients. And that's when AIDS was a death sentence.
Hmm.
So, yeah, gallows humor is a real thing. And you're right. In The Walking Dead, there was no humor. But
Yeah.
I think the reason I stopped I had friends who were big fans, and
Hmm.
people you would never expect to be big fans of it. Seniors, for example,
Hmm.
conservative seniors. And what I realized in the first, like, I think I watched the first season, and then they released it in black and white, and had like a marathon of it. I forget
Hmm.
who makes what
It
channel
was
is
like
one.
AMC, I
AMC.
think.
Yeah, AMC. They released it in black and white. It was 100 times scarier.
Mm.
But you have to remember that most zombie movies are, in essence, a ripoff of Day of the Triffids, and they've replaced the plants with dead people.
Okay.
In fact, the way that The
So
Walking
Day of the
Dead
Triffids
starts,
itself was not a rip-off of all the zombie movies that came before it then.
really the first zombie movie of what we think of as zombies is Night of the Living Dead. It set lots of the rules.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Unfortunately, he screwed himself over by never registering the copyright
yep,
for that
yep.
movie. Yeah.
Which is
Okay,
why
so
if
that
you're
it doesn't mean anything. The copyright's still yours. It just all the copyright that would have entitled you to 150,000 statutory damages if you won.
okay. Well, the thing I wanted to talk about The Walking Dead is The Walking Dead is a cozy catastrophe. So things like Day of the Triffids, there was a British show called Survivor. Any of these
Oh, Survivor
stories,
was great. Oh yeah, that was like Walking Dead without the zombies. And
right?
actually, Walking Dead, the zombies aren't really that important. They're more like just a sort of force of nature. So it
So
was a lot
there's
more like,
so
yeah.
there is a genre of fiction where everything goes to hell, but you are a survivor and you're going to put together a whole brand new civilization, and everyone lives. They have to work a little harder, but they all live happily ever after.
If you
And
didn't live happily in Survivor,
that was The Walking Dead. It was a survivalist fantasy show. And you had villains worth killing, you had monsters worth killing, you were stealing everything, you were shooting guns. And that's what I think appealed to people, that they got to, this is what they fantasize the world will be like when they don't have to worry about laws or rules or a job.
Mm.
Oh yeah, I believe
Yeah.
that 100%.
Yeah, and the thing is like again, I watched a good portion of The Walking Dead, right? I watched until the point where Carol got her little old lady house. And
It
there
doesn't last, by
was
the way.
yeah, do you remember what was it? Where all the train tracks came together. Was it Terminus? Was
Oh
that the
yes,
name
the
of the place?
terminus. Yes, yes.
Yeah, do you remember what those people did to all the women that showed up there?
Oh, didn't they cannibal eat them?
No, no, they raped them. You know,
They raped them and ate them.
because they Terminus started out as a good thing, right? Okay, we'll have it here. We'll put up all these signs. People will come here and we'll build a society, right? And then
Yeah,
like one group of bad guys came and raped all the women and killed the men and took all the food, took all the supplies and stuff. And then the people that created Terminus, they became bad, right? And then they did the same thing, right? And
yeah,
that was the whole point of Terminus, is that they became as bad as the people that hurt them, and then they became cannibals.
yeah. Okay, yeah. All right, it's all coming back to me. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, but like that was the whole thing of like when they had Maggie, and they're like, yeah, we can just do whatever we want to your girlfriend right in front of you, and there's nothing you can do to stop you. In the book, they do whatever they want. Right? In the show, they stopped because AMC probably had a producer going, "Whoa, we can't have a hard R scene
no.
in our show. We just
Well, and
can't."
that's very triggering for a lot of people too. So
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. But in the book, they do
The
it.
comic
And
book.
yeah, in the comic book,
Remember,
they
it's a
do it.
comic.
Yeah. But yeah, it Kirkman went to some really dark places in The Walking Dead, in the book and in the series. And I think the series, because it moves faster than the book, he got to explore a lot darker than he did in the book. Like in the book, you see people like find love and stuff. There's still a little bit of humanity left. But in the series, it I couldn't watch it. It lost
yeah,
me.
Humanity doesn't sell.
yeah. It lost Tina too. She stopped fairly after a little while. She watched it a bit for the first season or two, but I just stuck with it just because there wasn't much else to watch.
No, no. What I want to see is I want to see the zombie. Okay. Have you ever read the book World War Z? Not the
Yes,
movie, read the
yes,
book.
yes.
I want to
Yeah.
see the movie of World War Z the way the book is, a documentary, mockumentary style of how the world rebuilt itself after a zombie
It
apocalypse.
would have to be a mini series. You couldn't do it as a movie. There's not enough time.
But they did a disservice to that book the way they did that movie by turning it into just a generic zombie movie, because the book is
Maybe I thought it was
brilliant.
quite a good zombie movie. I thought it was one of the better zombie movies myself.
It
It was
but it's
terrible.
generic. But it's generic compared to the structure of the book, which is a documentary style of how the world rebuilt itself after a zombie apocalypse, which has
Okay.
never been touched before in any zombie lore. Is us
Yeah.
rebuilding ourselves after a zombie apocalypse, right? That is the brilliance of the book, of Max Brooks' book. And
Max
no
Brooks
one's touched
got
it.
that from a Studs Terkel book about World War II.
By the way, we got 3 minutes.
And he had previously written the Zombie Survival Guide.
Yeah. Yeah, he had written the zombie survival guide about like, oh yeah, these are the weapons you want, and this is where you want to hit them in the head and everything. Oh yeah, I know. He loved the zombies, but that the way he structured it, and the fact that he had that previous template of like, this is how we rebuilt after World War II. You're right. He did use a previous template of an existing book, and then basically made a mockumentary version for zombies, right?
Yeah.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant, right? You can tell he's Mel Brooks' son by how brilliant that mind is.
But that
Ooh.
really isn't a horror novel. It's really more of a sci-fi novel
Yeah.
about a pandemic
Mm-hmm.
and an apocalypse. And,
Yeah. A near apocalypse. Remember, we come back from it.
right, but I think that he missed a really interesting point in it. If I was writing it, I would do it differently. Is the zombies are physically impossible, and the question is, you could have them exist, but what does that do to people's minds and religions when you have something like that?
Do you remember in the book, you had people acting like zombies,
right.
right? They were just like, if you can't beat them, join them. And they just started acting like zombies, even though they were perfectly alive people.
Yeah.
But here's
Well,
the thing: a human body decays in about 6
Okay,
weeks, so
1
the zombie
minute.
apocalypse is going to be over pretty quick.
well, I must admit that
1
when
minute.
the pandemic came out, when we were dealing with COVID at the beginning, and we were discovering that there were people who had pre-existing conditions due to age, diabetes, obesity, lung problems that were more likely to have serious repercussions and death by getting COVID before the vaccines. There were people, for political reasons, who were elderly saying, I'm not going to mask. I'm going to conduct my life as normal to be a good American. And if I die from it, I die from it. And that reminded me exactly of people.
I like
There
it.
you go. That's model. Her name is it's hot. I don't know if I say it right. Jahirinari Croix, Croixx. I know. I follow her on Instagram. I've drawn her before. She was looking a little gothy. I made her a bit more. She's got little vampire-y fangs. I didn't do her bald like a bald Nosferatu, but there you go.
Oops, I did the wrong one.
That's my work for the day.
This is Dale. This is what Dale came up with. Is the Willy Wonka factory, and then I had two. So I'll put me in the big window. This is young George here.
That's nice.
And then this is old George.
You guys work fast.
Yeah. So,
yes.
All right. I thought we did a pretty good show. We touched on a couple topics. And
thanks for tuning in, everybody. Sorry we haven't been that great at looking at comments, but all right, we love to hear your comments.
It's your fault for watching the show.
Yes.
Well, I tried to catch up. I tried to catch up on everybody.
Catch up.
Well, we'll be back again next week, inshallah.
All right, and then you want me to finish it?
Yeah, assuming we haven't all been deported.
Okay, where's the end? I don't know where the end is.
Okay. We go into I think like where you go into design here. Wait, there we go. Design and then video clips. And
it's video clips. I see it.
Everybody.
Here's a theme song for Chuck Whelan Showy. He asked me to write one, but I stole from David Bowie. Here's a theme song. Chuck Whelan is the best. We have lots of hosts, but we're running out of gas. Will you be our guest on? Will you be our guest on? Be on the Chuck Whelan Show. Whoa, 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 whoa.
If you're gonna have a show,